updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Kandace and Denise here. Let's go. It's a brand new morning.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. On Tobago Updates, viewers, we are now being joined by Mr. Christopher Nathan, who is the CEO of Cocoa Velvet International, as well as the director of Making Style program. And we are here to talk about the Making Style workshop that's going to be coming up pretty soon. So special good morning and welcome to you.
Thank you. Nice to be here. Well, the name is actually Tobago Youth Creative Arts Workshop, and that Making Style is actually the graduation presentation show at the end of the workshop. So I am here to scout for talent, basically, to find young men and young women in Tobago who have an interest and the potential to model internationally in Paris, New York, London, Milan. And this is something we have been doing, my company Cocoa Velvet International, since 1997 when we were launched in Trinidad. So in 2019, after 40 years working in the airline and fashion industry in Trinidad, I decided to retire and move to, and this is why people will understand why I'm here. I decided to go to Africa, East Africa in fact, and set up Cocoa Velvet's African office off in the Indian Ocean in Seychelles. And in 2019, as you know, COVID struck. So after a few months, when I was about to go back to establish the office, I realized that it was not good timing. So I decided to move from Trinidad and come to Tobago to find my roots, because my mother is Tobagonian, Grenadian, and her roots go very, very deep in Speyside and Delaford. So I went to find out about my roots, the Campbell family clan in Delaford, and decided to stay here. So even though I'm here to retire, I decided to do one more workshop for Cocoa Velvet International, specifically for Tobago youths, while I still have some strength in my body. So that is how the workshop came about. So I decided to go to the Division of Education, Research and Technology to get permission from the secretary and the school supervisor 3 to recruit students from secondary schools around Tobago to attend the workshop. The response has been tremendous. I didn't really expect that. So we have 350 candidates from the secondary schools who are interested in pursuing careers in the creative industries. We decided to have interviews in order to whittle down our 350 to 100, because we can only accommodate 100 at the library's auditorium, which is where the workshop will be. So we're doing interviews every Monday in October with their parents and determining if they're serious about careers in the creative industries. As you probably know, the creative industry is huge, and it generates over $3 trillion a year in revenue around the world. And there's an opportunity for Tobagonian youths who have what it takes to work as professional models around the world to have a serious career. While we were setting up the workshop, I was able to negotiate an agreement with the Miss World Trinidad and Tobago organization for one of the participants of the workshop to represent Tobago at Miss World Trinidad and Tobago pageant, which is another wonderful opportunity for them. So that we decided to do a contest to make it fair. So we are having Miss Tobago 2024 Beauty Pageant as part of Making Style on the 4th of February at the Shopper Complex, and 12 young ladies from villages around Tobago will compete for that title of Miss Tobago and go to represent Tobago at Miss World Trinidad and Tobago. I am so excited because so far we have identified 5 really strong candidates already out of the 12, and I believe they have the potential to win Miss Trinidad and Tobago as well and go to Miss World to represent the Twin Island Republic. So it's a great opportunity, because the last time we had a really successful Tobagonian
Yes, Kanisha Tom.
That's right.
She was my schoolmate.
There you are. And Kanisha actually came 7th at Miss Universe and Miss World. So we have recruited Kanisha to be a big system mentor for the workshop. So even though she's living in Kenya, you know, she's in East Africa.
Yes, I know.
Right. So she is online mentoring the young ladies who are in the workshop and giving them advice about taking care of themselves and how to prepare for Miss World Trinidad and Tobago.
So did you work with her during that time, during that journey that she took?
Absolutely.
And what was that experience like?
Well, Making Style is where she kind of debuted in Trinidad, because that was a show we had in 2006, and she was one of our top models. In fact, we have some pictures to show, and you will see Kanisha at Making Style in 2006 on the catwalk. So do we have the pictures?
Yeah, I think the directors have the pictures in, so they should be flashing them across the
Yes.
screen right about now.
So I'm really
So-
happy to have Kandace on the project as a mentor. And if we are able to get the finances, we want to bring her in as a judge for the pageant as well.
Oh, great. I mean, and then certainly because, I mean, a lot of people might be a little bit too young. Some of the people might be too young to remember when Kenisha went up. But what she did was quite remarkable,
Absolutely.
especially for a Tobagonian.
Yeah.
So,
And I'd
we're,
like to stick a pin in there. Because of that, I have nominated her for a Tobago Award this year.
oh,
Because I
wow.
was quite shocked. There she is. And that's
Yes.
what making style at Queen's Hall. Kanisha having positioned Tobago on the map internationally and Tobago's fashion industry. I thought she had already received an award, and to my surprise, she hasn't. So I made it a point this year to ensure that she gets nominated for a Tobago Award.
Certainly. I mean, yeah, she really did well back then. Now, tell me a little bit about some of the other women, or actually models, I should say, because there are some men that you've
Yes.
worked with as well.
Right. And you've seen some male models from Coco Velvet International here. In fact, we just did 2 jobs here in Tobago, Coco Velvet International, and we unfortunately had to bring models in from Trinidad and Venezuela. And I want to change that. I want whenever we get a job here in Tobago, we use Tobago talent. Makeup artists, hairstylists, models, the whole gamut. So the workshop is to really develop a pool of talent here in Tobago so that when Coco Velvet International is doing projects, we have all the resources we need here in Tobago. We don't need to bring anybody in from Trinidad anymore.
Certainly. And then, you know, what are the opportunities that are there for models? Because now versus 2000, it's quite a long time, and I know the industry has grown quite a bit.
Indeed. Our plan for Tobago is to develop Tobago as a fashion center because there's potential, because you have a target market of thousands and thousands of tourists coming to the island every year for Carnival, for the Tobago Heritage Festival, and for various events here in Tobago. These tourists would like to carry home something with them from Tobago. So there's an opportunity for textile artists to create sarongs and wraps and scarves. There's an opportunity for jewelry designers to create jewelry to sell to them. There's an opportunity for fashion designers as well to create fashion resort wear to sell to the tourists and visitors. And for that reason, we have decided to have what we call Style Week Tobago, Creative Arts. We call it Caribbean Arts and Fashion Festival in 2025 here in Tobago. And we are going to bring, hopefully, a cruise ship in of visitors from North America to Trinidad Carnival first, and then they will come to Tobago and be part of a week-long fashion festival where there will be a market for Tobagoan artisans and craft people and fashion designers to sell their goods to these tourists.
Certainly. And then, you know, what is it that we have here? How can we work with, let's say, some of the pageants that we have locally to uplift the standard that we have? And I'm talking here about Miss Heritage. I'm talking here about the Afro queens that we have at Carnival and that sort of thing.
Well, it starts with training, really, yeah? And we are very excited to have recruited Miss World 1986, Giselle Ron West, as our chief instructor. So she'll be coming to Tobago to train the Miss Tobago delegates, which is an amazing opportunity. You can't get better than a trainer who has been Miss World to train you. So the pageants that you have here really, in order to get the quality delegates that you want, it really starts with training. And you have to train from ground zero up. So our training program includes corporate and social etiquette training, hair care and skin care training. We do wardrobe management. We do communication skills development, which is very important because these models are represented brands. The delegates have to speak at the contest. As a result, they have to be very articulate and confident and able to speak well. That's me doing a workshop in Trinidad with some models. They're all like 6 feet tall. And that's one of the requirements when we're here looking for models. And I should like to speak to that because those of you who are coming to the screening today, Monday, and next week, Monday, need to be aware of the criteria. For Miss Tobago delegates, there is a criteria on our Instagram and on Facebook at Coco Velvet International because we have to keep in line with Miss World requirements. So they cannot have had a child, they cannot be married, and delegates should be 16 years, between 16 years and 26 years old. So be aware, those of you who are interested in screening for Miss World, that you have to be unmarried, without child, and between 16 to 26 years. Female aspiring models need to be 5 feet 9 inches minimum height and a maximum height of 6 feet. However, because we have recruited, as I said, 350 candidates, many of them are 12 years, 13 years, 14 years, 15 years, and they're still growing. So as a result, I have been blessed with an eye to detect talent very early. So a lot of these pictures that you have just seen are models that I discovered when they were 12, 13, and 14, and worked with them over a period of time to prepare them for work at 18 years old when they finish school. So I can tell when they come to the screen and if they're going to be tall and have the right body proportions, etc. So don't be discouraged if you are 5 feet 5 inches or 5 feet 6, but only 12, 13, 14. You will still grow. The male models, I think there are many talented male models in Tobago who have the potential, but they are afraid to come forward because they don't like to hear what people have to say about them and their family and friends and the peer pressure. Understand that male model is serious business. And in fact, probably 80% of male models who work internationally are straight. They're not gay. So when people tell you about the gay thing and the homosexual, forget about it. If you feel you have potential and you have the right physique and the right height, come forward. Our screening is today, Monday, at the Scarborough Library facility on the first floor meeting room between 3 and 5:30 p.m. And then we continue the screenings next week, Monday, for Miss World delegates, as well as for Tobago Top Model delegates as well. We are hoping to have a candidate from each village community in Tobago, because we're looking at 12 delegates in the finals of Miss Tobago Beauty Pageant. And the ones who do not win, because remember we only have one winner who goes on to Miss World, are able to go to Trinidad for the screening for Miss World Trinidad and Tobago as well. So all 12 delegates can get into the contest.
But I mean, I know that there are other pageants that are happening
As well,
worldwide,
yeah.
and like it's been growing.
Yes.
So are these persons? So let's say they're not quite successful at Miss World. Is there opportunities for them through your agency to be able to go out on the international stage in different lights?
Absolutely. Several of the Miss World delegates also have potential for modeling. So they'll be doing both contests, Miss World, Miss Tobago 2024 Beauty Pageant, as well as Tobago Top Model. So they'll have an opportunity to work in either area. Now, fashion and beauty is two different areas. And models who do beauty queen pageants are really not suitable for modeling, because it's a different, it's like oranges and apples. So we're separating the training. So there's training specifically for the delegates and there's training for models. However, there are one or two who can do both because they have the right criteria, they fit the right criteria. So moving forward, we will have a pool of young ladies who have the potential for beauty pageants, and we will train them and prepare them for contests in the future. And then we'll have separately a pool of models who will continue to prepare for work in Paris, New York, London, and Milan. We have 13 models from Trinidad at Coco Velvet who are currently working for top designers like Prada, Versace, Calvin Klein, Christian Dior. These are the top brands in the world.
Yes.
And we are very excited for that, because when I started Coco Velvet in 1997, there were two divisions, a fashion management division and a model management division. And I had the balls to say, I hope I could say that on the TV, to say when we were launching that we are here to discover, develop, and export talent from Trinidad and Tobago.
Nice.
And we have done that. In fact, we were fortunate that our principal model in 1997 was Wendy Fitzwilliam. And several months after starting the company, she won Miss Universe. And that brought a lot of international attention to Coco Velvet. And then we had a young man called Paul Robert Price who went to Oprah Winfrey's show, which we call Sexy Island Man Contest in Nassau, Bahamas, and he won. So he went on Oprah Winfrey's show. He got a gig with Ralph Lauren. He also brought a lot of attention to Coco Velvet. He's now a movie star working in Hollywood.
Wow.
So what we do is transform the lives of young people who have potential for the international creative industries.
Great. And we're out of time this morning, but before we go, I just want to get your contact details for those who are listening and would be interested. How can they get in contact with you?
Well, first of all, you have to go on our Instagram and Facebook to get details on the screening, which is Coco Velvet International. And we have a hotline for Miss Tobago 2024 Beauty Pageant, which is 620-2316.
All right, great. So, viewers, there you have it. If you are interested, if you know anybody that is interested, we need to have another delegate there. All right, Kanisha Tom led the way back into the early 2000s, but we it's about time we have someone else getting up
And
there as
this
well.
time we want to win the contest.
And this time we want to
Miss
win.
World 2024
Yes,
from
certainly.
Tobago.
All right. Well, and thank you so much for being on with us, Mr. Nathan, and wish you best of luck. And viewers, I hope you have a safe and wonderful day, and we will see you again tomorrow.
Let's go, go. It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new